light, and a lot of people found them offensive. And then, less than a week after becoming Kent's Youth Police and Crime Commissioner, she's resigned.
So this morning there are concerns that many young people could have difficulty finding jobs because of how they use social media now. How careful should we be about what we post online?
I always think about what I'm putting on my page, and because I know that employers do check people's Facebooks and Twitter, so I don't put anything that I think is going to look badly on me.
My mum said to me, be careful with what you put online because it's always going to be there, sort of thing. But I don't think other people think about it as much, like posting pictures of narcotics and stuff. It's not very good when the websites like that are so public.
I think nowadays, especially kids can be so young when they've got Facebook and Twitter that they just say whatever comes to their mind and don't think about it. They don't think about their future. When, you know, if you're 14, 15, you don't necessarily think about what you're going to do when you're sort of a grown-up.
I think people are starting to realise that, you know, what goes on there stays on there.
I follow a lot of people on Twitter. I've got a lot of friends on Facebook, and they don't seem to think about what they say necessarily. They just say what's on their mind at the time.
That's part of the problem. Joining us now, Jake Morrison, who at 20 years old is Britain's youngest local councillor, works for Liverpool City Council. Alongside him, Simon Bracewell from the Recruitment Society, which represents many recruitment firms. Well, good morning to you both. Jake, did you have some sympathy with Paris Brown? I mean, she's there trying to do a job, connect with young people, and then she has to resign because of something that many young people do, which is speak their minds on Twitter.
Good morning. Yes, it's a very unfortunate situation, really, because she was 14 years old when she's done these tweets, and she's now 17, and I think you develop a lot during that age, between 14 and 17, and she hasn't had the opportunity to prove herself capable of doing this job as a youth advisor to the Police and Crime Commissioner. I'm worried that other Police and Crime Commissioners will not want to recruit people in these positions in the future because of the media storm that's happened with Paris. I think it could have been handled much better by the Police and Crime Commissioner's Office, if I'm totally honest. They're the professionals here. She was accountable to them. It is very unfortunate, but hopefully we'll be able to move on from this. And
Simon, yeah. Why do companies think that it is fair game to dig into the private past of people's personal lives by looking at their Facebook accounts?
I think it's really important that people bear in mind that social media can be really positive for those people, and I think that firms will dig into people's private lives if you see it as a private life on social media, and I think that's one of the big questions: is social media your private life or not? Where's the line?
We need to establish a border, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the big things that certainly we're pushing as the Recruitment Society is that people need to positively use their social media, and we want to push out advice to schools and careers officers about how young people should be using it.
Well, yeah, except that the reality is that teenagers don't think about their careers when they're using Facebook and Twitter. They are thinking about their friends, and I think, as Paris has already said, you know, they're showing off a little bit. Maybe they're saying things which they don't even mean. Maybe they're saying things which they, you know, hope might cause a bit of a stir.
Absolutely, but I think one of the things and one of the bits of advice that we're trying to push out there is about that we know kids are going to do that, but if their privacy settings are set correctly on their social media, particularly when they get older, and then it's going to stop people from actually seeing the stuff that they've done on there that they want to keep private, that's about their social lives. We all have social lives, we all have private lives, but if you keep your privacy settings set such that employers can't see what you do in your private life, then it should be okay.
The whole point of Twitter, though, is that you don't have a privacy setting, really.
And I think your point's right. At 14, 15 years old, I had MySpace when I first was in school, and it's your diary, it's your way of expressing yourself. And at 14, I am sure that Paris Brown never dreamed she was going to become a youth advisor to a Police and Crime Commissioner. They never existed at the time. And schools do have a position. They're talking about the dangers of social network, but actually, let's talk about the reality of social network, which is in the future, employers will look at Twitter. I know of people who've applied for university and have been rejected because there's been pictures of them lying in the back of a taxi, drunk and stuff.
Applied for university and been rejected?
Yes, that happens a lot, yeah. I've no people who wanted to become nurses who were rejected because there were pictures of them lying on the floor in a taxi, enjoying themselves at 18, 19 years old.
Why is that relevant?
It's obviously about the reputation of the organisation, the reputation of the university, and whether these people are reliable. Actually, I don't think it is relevant in terms of whether they're capable of doing the job or not. But people are looking at social networks and they're looking at the type of character they think you are,
Yeah,
and it's not necessarily reflective online.
We're running out of time, but there's the other issue of the pictures that other people take of you and put on their
Absolutely.
social media accounts, which you have no control.
No, I mean, one of the big things that we've put out there is about that you need to be monitoring your own channels. It's okay you having your channels out there, but you do need to be monitoring them.
In other words, there's no such thing as privacy anymore.
There isn't really, no.
All right, lesson learned. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jake, Simon, thank you. Carol, let's have a look at this morning's weather. Morning.
Good morning. This morning, well, for many, it's a dry start to the day. There's some frost around, a wee bit of patchy fog as well.